Hey, baby.
Thanks.
It is in the bag, all the stuff that's left.
Thanks. Okay, I'm just gonna finish this video. Okay, namaste, my
Do I do
Zenzi.
that thing now? You want me to do it now or wait?
I don't know, babe. I'm doing a video.
Okay, I'm just asking you about the thing. It's a yes or no question.
You could do it now. This way it doesn't get all messed up.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
Namaste. This is the last part that I was trying to get finished with, but then my phone went dead, and then when it did soup up, I had no energy because I had already done like 3 videos.
Cheese platter.
Okay. So, welcome in. I don't know how many people are going to be in here. I didn't know I was going to do a live. So I was going to just do a video, but I decided to do a live because I want to reach out for the people going to be going to work, back to work soon. So I wanted to make sure that I got this done before I go back to work. Okay. So what is the subject? The subject is still Gypsy and that night of the murder. And then also I'm going to end it with a little bit of a read for Ken Urka and Aurora Raina Urka, to see what advice the angels and the guides, spirit guides, want to give. Okay. So I'm just going to straight up read my notes for now. Let me just put this up for a second. Everybody could hear me. I didn't put my music on because I just literally got up. I've been doing this thing where I get up, I can't sleep. I wake up from my sleep. I wake up from my resting with this on my mind. So if I get this off my mind and complete, maybe that'll be good. Okay. So I'm not going to put up the baby's name yet because this part is about Gypsy. Okay. So what I left off on, and if you don't believe I have notes, here they are. Okay. But I'm just going to leave you over here. You can look at my candle, whatnot, and the cards that I have already out. Okay, so this is just some notes that I wrote based on my research. Yes, so Gypsy was diagnosed with microcephaly, which is a small head, a small jaw, a jaw that juts out, a tongue that's too big for the mouth. It causes breathing problems, chewing problems, sleep issues, sleep apnea. That's why she had a sleep apnea machine when she was a baby. They don't just give those out at the hospital for no reason. The child has to be, or the person has to be tested first. They give them a test on their heart. They give them a test on their lungs. And she did have several sleep studies. Okay. Then they give you the machine because the machine was, when she was sleeping, she was not breathing. Okay. As a baby. Ear infections, strabismus, which is was corrected when she was a baby, when she was very young, because if you let it go, you can't correct it. I have a friend that has it and was not able to be corrected because her mother was afraid to get it done, and then it was too late. She wore the eye patch and she wears glasses, but she has a severe cross-eye. And that's what happens with strabismus. And you can go blind Um, Gypsy is always involved in gaslighting everybody, ghosting people, manipulating. She didn't want to take care of her sick mother, and that was the motive. Okay. Also, she wanted to go off, and she didn't. She had discussions, several discussions with her mother, about when she could date. And her mother said, yes, she can indeed date when she proves to her mother, who was her world, it wasn't Rod in the picture, wasn't Christy in the picture visiting. Nobody, and you could blame that on Dee because you could say, oh, Dee didn't want them to know where they lived or where they were. And yeah, you could blame that on her because she kind of took Gypsy away from them. All right. But they didn't really try too hard. They didn't try too hard. I mean, you could find people. But anyhow, when they lived in the same township, they weren't seeing her that much. So there's that. Dee Dee was the only one who wanted to take care of her full time. And, maybe things would have been different if Dee Dee had extra help and had a part-time job and was able to get out of the house and get away from Gypsy for a little while. Maybe things would have been better, but that's not what happened. She was her full-time caretaker. Okay, so she didn't want to take care of her sick mother, and she was getting sicker and sicker. She wanted a free ride. Do you realize that Gypsy was going to have to start going to get the food, to go food shopping? But she couldn't drive in front of people because then everybody would know she knows how to walk. And the whole thing was a grift. But she could have got some sort of in drop-off service. There was a lot of things that she could have done. Handicapped people, a bus can come pick you up and take you places. There were lots of services, but no, she just wanted her mother. And if her mother couldn't do it, she wanted her mother dead. Okay? Allegedly, for entertainment reasons only, this is my opinion. This is my reading. Can I be wrong? Yes, I can be wrong. Can I be right? What if I'm right? Okay. So she wanted a free ride. She didn't want to work for anything. Okay? The house and the car and the money and the trips and free trips, everything for free. Dee Dee was shot 10 times with a BB gun, but at first she thought it was a real gun. She did. She was held after that happened. Dee Dee ran away from her and sat on the toilet, but Dee Dee was not safe, even sitting in the company of a bathroom, sitting on a toilet. She still wasn't free of Gypsy because Gypsy held a knife to her neck. She was held at knife point in that bathroom. So picture an overweight woman that can't move around as it is. She's got pains in her legs and her ankles are swollen. She's got pains in her stomach. I'm sure she had a migraine. All right, dealing with Gypsy 24/7, 365. Okay? She heard Gypsy doing those fucking videos. Okay? Anybody who thinks that Gypsy only did those videos when her mother was gone, safely gone, and her mother was always gone at night for some reason. No. When you have diabetes and you're severely obese, you can't see that well at night. Okay? So where was Dee Dee going at night? She was in the house. Gypsy probably overdosed her allegedly with some medicine, or maybe Dee Dee was in a lot of pain and took extra pain pills. Because when you have kidney stones, I don't know if you ever had kidney stones, but my husband has diabetes and kidney stones, kidney issues, and I had kidney stones myself. Okay? When I first moved to Texas from New York, I used to always walk. I would walk for 2 hours, and the heat can go up to 110. And I didn't realize, my dumb ass didn't realize I was supposed to be drinking loads of water. And I didn't. I didn't bring a bottle with me. I didn't really drink when I got home. I just would sweat and hope to lose weight and hope to, you know, do videos and, dream world. And I ended up in the hospital several times because, ER, because I had kidney stones. And they're so painful. They're worse than childbirth. And so that's what poor Dee Dee had. And in addition to that, she had to put up with her. So she probably felt the pain coming and would take a pill. And then she was out. So that's what I believe. That's in my opinion. And can I be wrong? Yes, I can be wrong. I'm not God. I never said I was God or Jesus. But I have a strong feeling psychically that for lots of those videos, she was right there. She was just thinking, oh, my daughter is just doing her little play thing. And when she's doing her play thing, her play videos, she didn't even think she was taping them. She just thought she was like friggin' sitting there talking to herself or talking to a friend on the phone, like, playing Playmates or something, because she didn't want to really think that she was actually doing an actual video. See how smart Gypsy was? Well, with technology, Dee Dee wasn't that smart with technology. So she thinks that she's in there talking to herself or maybe even just talking to her friend on the phone, being an idiot, playing dress up. See, she played dress up with Dee Dee, where she's like sitting in the snow, acting like she's acting out a scene from Let It Go, and Dee Dee's going along with it. And you know what? Dee Dee was nice to her. I don't remember my mother playing with me when I was that old, or even younger. She would just say, go play with your friends or your family, your sisters, your brother, or you by yourself upstairs, entertain yourself. Because she was tired. She had 6 kids and a job, full-time job. Okay, so anyhow, Dee Dee was shot 10 times and then held at knife point. She knew that Gypsy was stealing pills from her and money, medication, oxy. She lied. She gave some of those pills to Dan. And then she allegedly probably told Dan, I could get you money and I could get you more pills. Just, pay attention to me and say that we can run away together. And he's probably like, what? Run away together? I'm married. She didn't get that part, though. She didn't hear that part. Okay, so she took Dee Dee's cell phone at one point as well. By the way, that was a 22 caliber gun. I don't know guns. I really don't. But it was a BB gun. But it was a 22. So therefore it looked like a regular gun. The dagger that she held over Dee Dee over the toilet. Imagine how vulnerable Dee Dee was when she looked up and sees Gypsy's face staring down at her after she just shot at her. God. I'm so sorry, Dee Dee. Okay, and just so everybody knows this clarification, here's a clarification for you. Oh, great, I only have one person in here. Yeah, she couldn't go play with anybody because her scam would get found out. That's right, Tamara Smith. Thank you. She created the monster with her abuse. So if you think I feel sorry for Dee Dee, I don't. Okay, no, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm just saying my opinion and my reading. Hi, Jenny. Yeah, her toxicology report was clean. So let's get back to that. I did a video on that, but they didn't come. I didn't get to transfer all my videos. I did them on TikTok, and I didn't get to transfer them all to YouTube yet. Not that anybody watches them, because, sometimes they get like 10 views or 30 views and that's it. But that's okay. I'm doing it to spread the truth. Her toxicology report, I'm glad you brought that up. Dee Dee's toxicology report was clean. She had a little tiny bit of food in her body. She had a little tiny bit of food that she made. She made dinner for both Gypsy. Gypsy admitted that. She said we had a long fight. We had a long talk. We were fighting for days. And then supposedly Gypsy had her bags packed over by the door because Dee Dee said, go live with, you want to leave? You want to go move in with, what's his name? Nick, go to John? Then go. Go do that. And pack your bags, pack your stuff. And she kept on telling it, did you pack it yet? Did you pack it? And then Gypsy kept on trying to like make up with her. Because why? Gypsy didn't want to get rid of the house. She just wanted to get rid of her mother. She didn't want to get rid of the house. She wanted to get rid of the responsibility. She didn't want to get rid of the house or the money or the pills or her lifestyle that she had. She just wanted Dan to move in. She didn't want Nick Odejan. She did not want Nick Odejan. She didn't even buy 2 tickets. She bought 1 ticket, returning ticket for him, not for her, because she was going to call the cops and set him up. And she already did set him up. The guy is doing life in jail. Okay. There was somebody else's question was that Dee Dee abused her. There was no proof of that. Okay. I thought that too. And I have many videos that I did where I feel that she definitely emotionally abused Gypsy, but there's no proof of any abuse. There's no proof of Munchausen, and there's no proof of the SA. Okay. So, but I'm not going to get into that because people feel a certain way, and I understand. I through it myself, so I understand that. So I'm not getting into that. My point of this video is to finish with my notes. In 2011, when they found out about the microdeletion, she was 20. She was 20 years old, and she had lied to her mother and said she needed that wheelchair. Everybody would like to think that Dee Dee pushed her in that wheelchair. No, she knew that her legs were weak, and Gypsy had a seizure when she was 6. She was in the hospital for 6 months, maybe not 6 months, but I don't know. Somebody has the medical records. I don't have the records in front of me. So her mother, Dee Dee, knew that her legs get weak. Yeah, she can get out of the wheelchair and walk around a little bit, but she knew that her legs get weak, so she wanted her in the wheelchair so she can get her, so she can grift more. Yeah, probably, because you can get her more help if she was in the wheelchair. Okay, so let's get rid of that. But she was actually 20 friggin' years old in 2011. In 2012, she was 21. She met Nick, I believe, in between 2012 and 2013. So she between 21 and 22. In 2010, she met Dan. I should have wrote that down. 2010 was the whole Dan thing, right? And she was 19, but he thought she was 15. But she was age 19. And she knew her ages. She found all the she had all her paperwork because she went to the hospital and she had a binder to prove to Dan that what age she was, because her mother had already called him and said, you stay away from my daughter, otherwise I'm going to call the cops and let the cops know that you're a pedophile. And what happened was, when she went back to mess with Dan or to be in Dan's life, that's why she brought this binder to prove her date of birth. I believe was in 1991, making her 34 today. Okay. So when she was 19, she met Dan. That was 2010. 2011, she was 20. 2012, she was 21. 2013, she was 22. At the time, she looked like she was 12. She was acting like she was 12. Then or 13, because that's her favorite age to look like, because she knows that most pedophiles like that age, and she likes that age. 2013, 23. 2015, when she killed her mother, allegedly, or she did, 24. And people thought, well, she was 23, and then her birthday is in July. So this happened in June. So she was 23 and a half, 23 and three quarters, going on 24. When she was in the trial, in the jail, and he was questioning her age, do you believe that she said she was 19? She changed her age and made believe she was 19. The guy even said to her, you look between 12 and 15. And she was like, well, actually, my mother used to do this wrong and do that wrong. So I'm actually 19. And so she lied again in jail while she's in jail when she doesn't do anything wrong. She allegedly says she doesn't do anything wrong. Okay, so please trust and believe that in 2015, when she went to prison, she was 24. She stayed in prison for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and got out, I believe, at 32. Okay, so, okay. Yeah, there was no medication in Dee Dee's stomach. In other words, she didn't even give she wasn't even taking her sleep meds that would help her to sleep and not feel as much pain. She didn't even have her insulin in her. Okay, so, uh, you know, that is really horrible, because that she felt every stab wound and every punch, and everything that was done to her. That means she was tortured. Okay. Hi, Eleanor. Thanks for coming. Oh, I'm Jenny Brown. I am definitely on the truth train. I am definitely 1,000, 1,000,000%. I started the truth train, but nobody paid attention to me years ago. Years ago. Nobody pays attention really to my videos, but it's okay, because who sees it? God. God sees it and tells me full speed ahead. So, but I don't believe in I mean, it could have happened, but I don't see this psychically in the other part. The part where I just have frankincense burning, guys. Some frankincense and myrrh for Jesus. Um, the part where a lot of people are saying that, it was a sacrifice and there were 6 people in the house that night, or 9 people, and the reason why nobody's saying that is because David Blanchard next door was a part of it. And you know what? I just don't get it. You think I've looked into that? I've looked into it. My last night reading that I did on TikTok, I specifically was doing my dowsing rods on that. And I just don't see that. And I asked Dee Dee, and sometimes people don't know because they're involved in their death, but they go above their body. God lets them go above their body so they see who's in the room. And she just told me first just Gypsy, and then that boy. She calls him a boy. But she met Nick, and actually she did not dislike Nick, and she was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore with Gypsy. She's thieving, she's taking my pills, she's taking money, she's leaving at night, she's talking on the phone, she's saying disgusting things, she's sending pictures. Dee Dee always tried to cover it up for her. She said, I can't do it anymore because I'm too weak, I'm so tired. She needed somebody to take care of her, but Gypsy wouldn't do it. Only time Gypsy would do it was for something. She was trying to get something from her. But like on the same token, when I was doing channeling Dee Dee yesterday, And then she came back to me. She always says the same thing, but I forgive her, Katrina. I do forgive her. And I still love her because she's my only child. I do love her. She goes, I had to have a hysterectomy. I had cancer in my uterus and I couldn't have any more kids. And that, it kind of sealed it. That just her with me, that was my only chance. She was my only chance. And she goes, and sometimes it was my honor to be her mother. And, that makes me cry for Dee Dee. As a mother, you want to do everything for your kids. And I'm not saying that she was perfect because she was like bipolar and I could see her mood swings and she admitted to me, yeah, a lot of times you were right. She goes, Katrina, you were right. And when you said the thing about when I was mad at Gypsy, I would pick up the cat and give the cat all love on the cat, but not love on, just ignore Gypsy like she was a piece of wood because I was trying to get back at her. She goes, but I didn't feel like I could bring anybody else into the relationship, but I tried to surround her with parties, the movies, going on trips and people that she met. And she goes, so that part is a bold-faced lie that she didn't have, she wasn't able to have friends. She goes, when I got really sick, I didn't really want anybody in the house because, when you're sick and you're losing urine, she keeps on talking about losing urine. And so that's telling me like her kidneys were shutting down. So, like she goes, I couldn't make it to the bathroom all the time. So, a lot of times I would need the wipes and, the diapers. And she goes, so why would I want to have people over? And then on the same token, she didn't want to have Gypsy going out there gallivanting because she knew that she had something wrong in her brain where she was, acting like a hoe. So it's part of the microdeletion is like a sexual, what's the name of that? Let me just change my page. Hypersexuality. And then there's a psychopathy and a sociopathy involved, but there's a hypersexuality and always thinking about everybody else's sex life. Like in the book, like anybody with a half a brain that looked at that book or read some of that book, if she's thinking about her parents' sex life and how many times her parents had sex, she is that is none of her business. And it's just like she was focused on everybody's sex life. And when she was in jail, she was focused on her father's sex life so much that she called him pimp juice because he was like cheating on the stepmother, either emotionally or physically or both or separately. But she called him pimp juice. And she shouldn't be talking to him about that. And like, that's on him. That's on him because he's supposed to be the adult. I mean, your daughter's in jail. She's in prison. And those are the conversations you have. But what I'm trying to tell you is she has a sick mind, so she should not be loose. Something bad will happen again. And who is, around her? Aurora. Who's around her? Ken. Right? Those are the ones that are around her. Not really Christy, not really Mia, not definitely not Mia. She stays away. Plus Mia's busy. Mia's busy with her career and her man and her place. Cooking, cleaning, making nice meals, and her career as a nurse. It wasn't easy to get there. And Christy, I think, runs some sort of car business where she details cars. I'm not sure if she still does that. But anyhow, they're not dealing with her, whether it's nice or not. I mean, they'll see her sometimes. And I know Christy doesn't mind watching the baby because she wants the baby to be safe, and Christy is a pretty good mother. I'm not saying she doesn't have her problems. Everybody has problems. Everybody has issues, but not everybody has hypersexuality problems and a microdeletion. You can't expect somebody who has a microdeletion to just, oh, okay, I'm just going to raise my kids. No. She has proven that she hasn't been able to find a job. She does drive, but it's very scary for her. She has mentioned in many videos, and I'm scared to drive too sometimes, but I had to do it. I've been doing it since I'm 19. But anyhow, the thing is, when people talk, we have to believe them. They tell on themselves. She does narcissistic mirroring. She has reduced gray matter. This is all part of the condition. She copies people's laughs, their voice, sayings, their dialect, their clothing, their mannerisms, because they don't have a mannerism of their own. When they look into the mirror, they do see something, but they mostly see what's bad. They'll see their moles, their wrinkles, they'll see deformities, they'll see what other people have said bad about them. And it's painful. But when you have these disorders, you need to be taken care of by a doctor, medication, talk therapy, or prison. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so, and she did starve herself. I believe she has an eating disorder. I believe. That's in my opinion. Okay? And when she was pregnant, that's when you saw it the worst. That's why people, and I even was like wondering, is she really pregnant? And I really didn't know. I really didn't know until I actually saw that infant. And people are like, oh, she can get an infant from, all these people that traffic babies and stuff like that. No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't feel it. I just don't feel it. I'm never going to tell you something I don't feel. I'm not going to make up something just to agree with if 100 other people are saying one thing, but I don't feel it. I'm going to tell you what I feel, even if it's opposite than 100 people, because I am loyal to my heart and I am loyal to my gift that God gave me. And I am always willing to say, I could be wrong. But what I think is she just has, it's just reminds me of Johnny Depp's ex-wife. Remember that whole thing, Johnny Depp's wife? Okay. Actually, she was in a better way because she didn't kill anybody. Okay, so, reacting to Gypsy Rose and the Silent Master. Okay. Does she have personality disorder? I don't know. If somebody could tell me, is she making it up? Is it for real? Because I feel like she made up those characters to appease Nick. Nick said he felt he had another side, another personality, and I don't know if he named it Victor or Gypsy named it Victor. But then Gypsy had to come up with six different personalities: Kitty, Ruby, Demona, Candy, and Gypsy. Gypsy is also a personality. Okay. Behavior issues and aggression. She's had that since she's a little girl. She still has it. Boom. Low muscle tone, and she will find that she will have pain in her joints. The joints of an older person. Because I studied the microdeletion. Whenever I do a case, I study everything about it. Yeah, it takes me a long time. And I do it all for free. I'm not monetized. Okay. That's all I have for my notes. I think I finally did my notes on it. I'm going to do my cards. And if you have any questions, I'll look at it after I do my cards, okay? Okay. Again, sometimes during the day I get a lot of young people. This is a 18 to 21. Sometimes I do 21 and over, but 18 to 21 channel, 18 and over. And the reason being because we're talking about adult issues and a case that's very, very scary and it's still going on. So if you are underage, you're not supposed to be on this channel. Okay, so please, if you are under 18, please log off. If I have anybody in my chat that is a moderator, please check that out. If they're saying anything that's like a little bit immature, like playing with Legos, then they're probably a kid and they don't belong here. Okay, thank you. Grace. Hey, Grace! Are you my Purple Pal's daughter? Nice to see you, Grace. Yes, I do. The answer to your question is yes. I believe that. I don't want that to happen. That's why it's important for everybody to keep on talking to her, because as we speak, she influences young people. Young people, some people are in jail today. They committed murder on their mother, stepmother, stepfather. There are people that were influenced by Gypsy Rose Blanchard already. They saw that she got this beautiful plea deal, and they could just say, oh, I was being sexually abused, or I was being emotionally abused, or I was being abused somehow. And, oh, Gypsy got out, so I'll get out. And then all the, like, a lot of Generation Z were like, oh, yeah, good for you, because they don't know the layers and layers of things that happen, the people that were affected by her. Okay? And you know what? The same thing. I don't try to be an advocate for let's get Nick out. I think he needs to stay there, but maybe just go into a different department where his psychological needs could be met. And also, I believe that his story needs to come out. And he's still holding back things about Gypsy that he said he'll take to the grave. And that he will always love her. And I totally feel it. All I had to do was listen to a video on him from jail. I don't think it was too long ago, but I don't know the date. And he still is sticking up for her. He's still hiding something for her because in his mind, he's still a 12-year-old and he believes she will come back to him somehow. And that the 5 days they spent together was the best days of his life. And meanwhile, they were the worst days of his life because she was manipulating and setting him up for where he is today. She's not there. He is, though, for life and beyond. And you'll see a lot of people surrounding her today. Bad things are going to happen to them. That's why I do these videos. You know, it's the people like, you know who I really am scared for? Ivory Rose grows louder. Even though I was so angry at her for being a turncoat, and she's probably always involved with Gypsy to begin with, and that is such a lie that she did to the public, and she had people feeling bad for her and people sending her gifts and making believe she's a fake tarot reader. Okay? And now she doesn't have a channel. Was it worth it? She like used to show skin products and stuff. She doesn't even have that. Was it worth it being friends with Gypsy or doing a scam with Gypsy? But I'm scared for her. And of course I'm scared for Bree. Have you ever heard me say one word about Bree? I think she's a good person. But when it comes to Gypsy being involved, she turns into a bully. But I'm not going to say one thing about her because you know what? Things are already in motion where her life is ruined. And I'm not saying that Gypsy forced her to to have mathematics in her car and not pay her insurance. But you know what? If Gypsy was a good friend, she would have been the one to get her out of jail. Or she would have been the one who said, listen, I'm worried about you. I love you. And I see that you're doing too much skiing and or doing too much of something or just being up all night doing lives. And I'm worried about you. And I want you to, have a better life. But Gypsy didn't do that. Matter of fact, she didn't even say happy birthday to her, online. So, yeah, she's a real good friend. She's a real good daughter. She's a real good mother. Not. Hi, Crystal Rose. A microdeletion is when you're born with microcephaly, a small head, right? So look it up. Just put it in Google and see what you get. Microcephalic. It's a condition, and it's like chromosome. There's all different kinds, but I think she has chromosome 1, 2, 1, 2, something like that. But look it up and just put in Gypsy Rose Blanchard microdeletion, and it'll come up. Basically, it is a deletion of one of the chromosomes. So then that would take away any kind of normalcy. So but she tries to make believe she doesn't have it. And this is why Dee Dee did all the things she did, was because she saw her daughter struggling to eat. She didn't just get the tube in for no reason. She got the tube put in because she was struggling. She was not thriving. She was losing weight. She wasn't able to chew successfully, so she was choking a lot. So then she started to get a fear about chewing, and she would lose weight. Small jaw, the tongue is too big for the mouth, breathing problem, chewing problem, sleep issues, sleep apnea, strabismus, ear infections, personality disorder, anger problems, aggression. There's a whole bunch of, and it doesn't go away. With therapy, yeah, you can live your life. Did she take any parenting classes? That's what I want to know. I mean, she has to know how to do something besides be on the internet. She thinks that, oh, I wrote a book. No, you had ghostwriters. You had ghostwriters writing the book for you. Oh, it was on a TV show. No, it was a documentary, and it was basically false. So that's what the Truth Train is all about, to get the real truth, and from the side of the doctors and Dee Dee, as much as we can. Anyhow, I shuffled some cards. I thought about the future and the past for Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And I got these from my new crime cards. And it's Veil of Shadows. A secret organization uses its influence to control and exploit vulnerable individuals. That's scary. Okay. So I don't know if she signed a contract with somebody else. The misplaced trust. Trust in the wrong person results in criminal betrayal and the significant consequences. Spirit, is this the past or the future? They just said both. Thank you, Spirit. The broken something. Oh, the broken oath. The broken oath. Hi, Taurus girl. The broken oath is a betrayal of a solemn promise, leads to a series of criminal acts driven by revenge. That is heavy. That is really heavy. I just felt like I couldn't breathe when I read that one. The misplaced trust is jumping out at me. I'm going to say that there's going to be more prison time, but for something different. Okay, so the shrouded motive, an unclear reason behind criminal actions complicates understanding and addressing the crime. Yeah, yeah, I think that's the past. I think because she. Oh, let me just put you down for a second. Okay. People, she got the plea deal because all of a sudden she never said that. She said her mother was overprotective, but wouldn't you be overprotective of your child if they had breathing problems, had eating problems, had walking problems, were in a wheelchair? They didn't tell you that they didn't need the wheelchair till they were 20. Even that was probably a lie. And then she finally does the act. She goes to jail and they give her a plea deal because they say, oh, she was beat up. She was abused. Raise your hand if you ever got a beating from either your mother or your father. Okay. Did you kill them? No. When they got sick, did you take care of them? Even though maybe you were mad at them for some reasons of the past? Yeah. You took care of them. Why? Because they were your parents. And you should hope that your children take care of you when you need them. Anyhow, I pulled a few cards for the future of Miss Blanchard in my angel deck. That was my crime deck. So now let's see what the angel deck said. Wait. I got Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Gypsy Rose, Asita Blanchard, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Leo. She's a Leo. Ken Urka is a Libra. Ironically, that's what my parents were. My father was a Leo, and my mother was a Libra. And yeah, Grace, you're right. I can't see her handling any responsibility of being a mom or a parent. I feel like something else will come along, besides Ken, and she's going to be disinterested in the baby, and she's going to say, well, I'm going to go do this work project. And she's not really going to do the work project, but the thing is, I see her getting away from the family life. And so hopefully Ken steps up to the plate fully, or Christy, and takes over the baby full time. And she could visit like once a month. God bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's a bit weird? What's a bit weird? This is a psychic channel, and we look for the missing kids and people that are missing, and we also go over cases. So we're going over Gypsy's case, and if you're too young to be here, then that's probably why it's too weird. So you need to click off if you already didn't. Okay. So first of all, what I got for coming up in the future is the Four of Pentacles, which is control. And you might say, who's trying to have control? Well, Gypsy always tries to have control of her situation. And you might think, oh, she's, at all these, right before Christmas, we call it the Christmas present of all time. When the Foyers came out, all those videos, like hundreds of videos that she did, where she looks like a 100% nut job, like a sex fiend, and just a nutter butter. And still people follow her. But the thing is, she has the gall to say, oh, well, I'll just come out with, I'll give my whole account to Bree. Then Bree came over for her daughter's birthday party and for some reason gets arrested with questionable things in the car and whatnots. Um, I always go away from her. I go away from everybody except this one and this innocent baby. But anyhow, she says I'll do a podcast. Why would you think people want to see you on a podcast when we don't believe you anymore? And we see she's trying to blame everything that she did on those videos was all because of Nicholas. I'm sorry, Nicholas is on a 12-year-old level. 12 to 15. His own mother said that. He was collecting an insurance check because he could not work a regular job at that point. You know? That's how bad his condition was. So there's been no evidence that Nicholas said anything besides I have another side to myself. I have a dark side to myself. So then she all of a sudden she made up all her sides. And then she did those things to manipulate him because if you know anything about autistic people and children, they learn really severely, really strongly, not severely, strongly by watching a video. That's why technology is so important to them because you could do a song and dance for them and try to talk to them till the cows come home, right? As a teacher, I've had plenty of those students. And but when you show them a little diagram video of how they're supposed to react, what they're supposed to do step by step, they understand that, they memorize that. Okay? And that's why technology is so important for them in their learning, because they don't understand how to relate to you unless you teach them. That whole thing with the kiss, throwing a kiss, he got that from her. The only thing he didn't get from her was when he called her darling and I think honey. No, honey. Because she used to call her mother honey, and her mother used to call her baby, and she used to call her mother honey. Okay? So she taught him everything. But maybe his mother used to say to him at one point, darling. And so that what I'm trying to say is when somebody is autistic and a low level brain capacity level, they can be manipulated. And that's why people with autistic kids, they have to stay so close with them. They have to be involved in programs and also have like a one-on-one caretaker. And a lot of times, Nick's mother was working and Nick had a stepfather. And I think there was many, boyfriends that were abusive. So he has his own story that people should be looking into. And then they would realize, that he was not capable of doing anything like on his own. He was manipulated because he thought he was saving her life. So that's why this is so bad and hits me so bad. Yes, I have a lot of sympathy for Nick, but I don't believe that he should be let out because I think he would some way, somehow get to Gypsy and she could get him, even if she doesn't want him to, he would make it his business his lifelong, love to find her, and he would do anything for her. And he said that. He still to this day says he loves her. He gets a little bit that she set him up. He does get that. Okay, so Four of Pentacles. That's Gypsy's control over everybody, over her life, her own life, her own narrative. She sees like, oh, I see other people, like, oh, people seem to like Kaylin, the podcaster, the one that was on teenage pregnancy show. I forget her name. Kaylin, I think. Kaylin, the one that interviewed her. Oh, she does so well, so I'm gonna set my living room up like that. And boom, I'm gonna be this. Boom, I'm an artist. But then she doesn't put any work into that and doesn't finish mailing out people their work that they paid for. Boom, I'm gonna be, what is it next week? An astronaut? Boom, I'm gonna be jet setting to colleges and talking about, what's wrong with the jails, what's wrong with prison. Boom, I'm not doing that anymore. So do you see? You see how fast? That's why I say give her podcast 2 weeks or a month. And yeah, she's an advocate. No, she's not. She's gonna do something, with Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian said, "No, thank you." Anyway, sorry for laughing, but sometimes you have to laugh. Okay, angel of the past. The angel of the past always haunts her. The angel of the past will always be with her. She tries to get away from it. And every once in a while she'll say, I've already done my time. I've already said I'm sorry. Have you? Are you? Don't think so. Your actions don't display that. Okay. But the angel of the past will be the judgment call. Something from the past that she thought she got away with is going to come back. That's just into my mind. Okay. Then we have the King of Cups. And this could be this could straight up be a man, 25 and older. Could be a water sign like Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. I'm seeing light eyes. Oh my gosh, is this Ryan? This might be Ryan. Somebody is going to be offering her love, and it came 3 cards in. So it could be somebody from the past, and that kind of looks like Ryan's color hair, right? That's what I'm saying. She always does another thing that I didn't point out this time, but I did in my other videos that they're on with triangulation. She always, like, she can't just be happy with one person. She's never going to be happy with one person. She has to have like a triangulation going because she has daddy issues. If you know what I mean? And because she didn't get the relationship that she wanted with Rod, she's going to just trying to find it, but I'm looking through my cards and I'm only seeing, I might have threw them out because sometimes I get sick of them that I throw them out. I don't think I would. These are summer moon wells, summer wells cards. Could have sworn I put them in here. Oh God, Brian Kohlberg. Well, basically it was just triangulation, which is like, so she was with, I had it all written out nice in that card. She was with Ryan. First she was with Nick. Before Nick, she was with Dan. So she was always trying to get Nick jealous of Dan. that she was going to go back to Dan. Meanwhile, Dan didn't want her. Dan did not want her. And so when she was with Ryan, she was thinking about Ken. And Ryan knew it because, she never should have married him. He never should have married her. I don't know what happened to that card. That makes me mad because I don't think I threw it out because it was so well done. But I don't see it over here unless it's... depersonalization, parents. I don't know. Yeah, okay, I think I'm done with that. I'm done with it. In other words, there's not just Ken in the picture, even right now. And even if it's not Ryan that she goes back with, it's got to be a new person. So right now she's talking to, and he sends her messages and they talked on the phone. His name is Brian, right? And she knows him from prison. She used to talk to him when she was in prison. And he sent her a present. And he said it was for the baby and her and a little bit for Ken. So isn't that creepy? Whether he sent to a post office box or whatever, why is she talking to another man when she's in a relationship with the father of her baby? Because she can't have just one person interested in her or a little bit interested in her. She's got to do a triangulation. She's got to make herself look better to them. Oh, well, you might be losing me because this other person's interested in me, and offering me comfort and offering me the compliments that she so needs, her ego needs. It's the narcissistic, I call it venom, but the narcissistic drink that she needs is compliments, her being complimented, her being put up on a pedestal, her, because her mother did it. And, she got many things from that. She got to meet famous people and the Harry Potter stuff and the Crime Con thing, the place where people dress. I don't understand that place. It sounds so creepy to me, but I know a lot of people do it. I think my stepson used to go once in a while, but it's real expensive. And it's just, she's used to that kind of lifestyle. So if it gets boring and it gets quiet and it gets too quiet, she can make believe to the cows come home that she's so happy and peaceful and living in her peace, but she's really not. Trust and believe. She's not. She's at her worst. When people aren't paying attention to her, giving her compliments, then you'll see her shopping a lot. Then she'll go to the store and she'll be buying and buying and buying. And she tries to make believe that it was all Dee Dee's hoarding, but it was hers too. It was stuff for her. Okay? When you buy so much stuff, like I have to yell at my husband, don't buy so much stuff from Temu because we don't need any more things. I have to find a place for everything. And being a Virgo, that drives me nuts. You understand, Grace, if you're still here, because we have the same birthday. You like to have things in order. But anyhow, so, she tries to blame everything on her mother, everything that was bad on her mother. And you know what? In life, everything is not bad. People have, like, even psychopaths have a charming side, right? And I'm not saying she's a psychopath. I'm just saying in general, I feel like she is a narcissist, sociopath, and she did what she did to her mother. And I think she had a hand in it, if you know what I mean. I know I'm not the only one on that one, but the last thing I wanted to say about her is that she will mess up again. Here's a compliment. I got one compliment for you, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. You're a good dancer. You are a good dancer. That's my only compliment. You're not a good painter. I'm not giving you that one. Okay? But you are a good dancer. And I don't really mind her singing. I think she has like what if she would have went for training on her voice, like voice training, like she had so many things wrong with her that I find it very hard to believe that she didn't get PT or voice training or something for her throat, because when you have these these issues, you get physical training, like PT will come to your house, because I know, she was out of school, and Dee Dee did have the books for her. She had a whole file on, readers, that and levels that she had to go over with Gypsy. I don't know if she went over them or not. I'm sure Gypsy will say she didn't. But how did Gypsy learn to read then? I know she can't spell well, but that's probably because she never wanted to write her sentences and do her spelling words. But anyhow, yeah, maybe she should, if she wants to be a singer, go for training, go for lessons. But she doesn't have any carry through. That's her whole problem. She wants everything in a flip of a snap of her finger, and she doesn't want to work for anything. When you're an artist, you're usually starving because you can't pay your rent. You can't pay your bills because you're painting, and every dime goes for paint. Every dime goes for canvases. Some artists paint over the canvases because they want to paint, and they want to paint so much that they run out of canvases, they run out of money, right? She doesn't have any carry through. If you want to be a dancer, take dance lessons. If you want to, do it as a hobby. But she doesn't do the carry through. Dee Dee put her in I don't know, beauty contests. She was in cheerleading. She likes to say, "Oh, I never got to be a cheerleader." She was in cheerleading lessons. She laid down on the floor. Okay? It wasn't for her. Maybe she felt like I can't do as great as the other people, so I'm just going to lay on the floor. And I took my daughter to, she kept saying she wanted to go to lessons, right? She thought it was hip hop and jazz, but it was also ballet. And they didn't spend a lot of time on hip hop. I remember she was like, was she 4? 4 or 5. And I went early to go pick her up so I could see the girls working out at the bar, like at the bar doing ballet. And I saw her. She was standing in the corner doing her own thing, not following directions. And I asked the teacher, "Why weren't you making her do what everybody else is doing?" She goes, "Oh, this is what she does. She just goes off and does her own dances in a corner," and like she was doing hip hop because she wanted to do hip hop. I was so angry because I spent a lot of money. I worked full time. No, that then I worked part time, and my husband, ex-husband at the time, had 2 jobs. And to put her in that program in the summer, I already paid for it. So I couldn't get her out. And so, but I asked her, I said, "Are you going to, do the right thing?" And she said, "I only wanted to do hip hop. And this is, other stuff. It's ballet. I don't like ballet. I don't like jazz." And so I did end up getting her out of the class. I was so upset with her. But you know what? I realized that wasn't for her. She just didn't want it. And then, I got her drum lessons, I got her soccer lessons, like just to try to find what her forte was, what she liked. And, but the whole point of it is trying to do for your child. And I feel Dee Dee was trying to, integrate her into different things. And, yeah, I mean, maybe when she was like 3 and 4, she did do those little, beauty contests pretty good. But anyhow, so those are those 3 cards, and then I have. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. Then I have 3 of Swords, okay, and this is heartache. That is coming. Some nightmares. Then there'll be choices to make. She already has 7 choices. Okay, the Seven of Cups represent 7 choices and also 7 people around her that actually do care for her. They care about her, but they're getting tired. They're getting tired of the we only see one side of her coming. Oh, I'm being bullied. I'm being everybody. Why can't they just forget about what happened 10 years ago? That was so 10 years ago. No, we don't forget about that. Okay. I did my time. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Okay. Um, and she will have to make a selection of what she wants to focus on. And I even see this like before 35. So she'll be 35 in July, and a big decision has to, and I also see a medical decision coming. There's a medical decision coming. I'm not sure what that one is. 6 of Cups. That's the support. Yeah, she still has friggin' lots of support around her. And then the 9 of Wands, we're going to end these cards. This is determination. Okay. Oh. One of these, maybe this one or this one. No, this one. 6 of Cups. This 6 different areas that she is interested in. So, like, say, for example, one could be her book. Another one could be trying to get another TV show. Another one could be something else that she's trying to do, like online. And she's doing the podcast. So that could be the other cup. So there's more choices coming. I don't feel like she's revisiting the art. Maybe she'll just do it on her own, but she doesn't like to do it just for no reason. She doesn't have the passion for it. And these last cards are for strictly a message for Aurora and Ken. Okay. Clear your vibes. So let's say Ken, Archangel Metatron is under the Virgo sign, and get cleared. Like, as long as he's with Gypsy, he's always going to have, he had them before. He has addiction problems. Ken has addiction problems, allegedly, for entertainment reasons only. In my opinion, he has addiction problems, addiction weaknesses, and he does get better, but he has to go more towards what his dream was. And his dream was that he would open a bar or open a small restaurant or just be involved. Maybe just even be a manager of a bar or restaurant. And you don't see him doing that. You used to see him like trying to make foods and things, like trying to cook. He doesn't try to cook in that kitchen. Any cooking that's happened has been Gypsy, with like making cookies and making cakes and not really making any foods for her baby or making any foods for him. So you can't just go out and get DoorDash every day. You can't get takeout food, because that's how you run out of money. And yeah, he is working, but I see another change in his job. But with the change in his next job, it's in a different state. I'm feeling like a warmer state, like warmer than Louisiana, which is like Florida. But it's something that will be given to him, like offered to him, and he's going to have to make a decision very quickly. So I hope he would take the baby with him, but I don't know if he's going to be allowed to do that, and he might take who with him, GRB. But he has to clear his vibes. He feels very good in 2 states. He feels very good in Florida, and he feels very good in Austin, Texas. Okay. Florida, it's a little harder to keep your job, to get your job, to live. Austin might be a little easier. Thank you, Metatron, for clearing my energy field. Yeah, he definitely needs to pray more to his angels to ask for help from Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, help him with cravings and addictions, weakness. Honor, honor your feelings. Archangel Hanel is, thank you, Hanel, for supporting me in honor of my emotions. So this is like telling me that him and Aurora, their emotions are that they need attention, they need love, they need care, to be cared for in the correct way. And that's okay to say that, Ken. That's okay to realize that you need that. And to search for it if you're not getting it now. Okay, and then the last message for Aurora and Ken is move your body. Thank you, angels, for motivating me to move my body and energy. Okay, so this just tells me like he needs to be taking Aurora out for more walks. He needs to be just getting her into exercise, into like Daddy and Me class, or well, now she's a year, so she could do many more things. And just like out with the dog Parker and parks and those Gymboree places where you could just play inside there for hours and build your muscles up. And just like, you remember, like, what's the name of that place that you would always bring kids to have birthday parties? Chuck E. Cheese type of place. Like I'm seeing those balls, those plastic balls. Like she needs like more exercise, and she needs to be with him out with exercise. And Gypsy can come too, but I don't know if she's going to want to, because, you know, she spends a lot of time online watching things like this. Okay. Let me just have a closing. I'm going to have a closing on this whole case. Ken Urka, Aurora, Rena Urka, Rena Urka. Yeah, who lives in Florida that Ken knows? Might have been an opportunity that he was given before. Like I see his brother saying, I will help you with the baby. His mother saying, I'll help you with the baby, but I do have to work still. So I don't, whoever's in Florida that he loves and his family with, but I don't know if it's Florida. I know his dad was in Florida, but moved to New Jersey, I thought. But this is definitely Florida. It's not New Jersey, because it doesn't get cold. He needs the heat and the sun. Okay. Okay, we got the Queen of Cups. I'm sorry, Queen of Pentacles. And she's holding the rabbit. Pentacles always represent money, practicality, the earth signs, so Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. And she's offering comfort. See the white rabbit? Mm-hmm. All right, so this is a person that has money, has an opportunity. They're established. They're already established. You admire them, Ken. They can help you. But they're very business. They're business. They're like, I'm not offering you something so you can fool around and be not interested in doing it in 3 weeks, a month, or 6 months. This is an opportunity if you're going to make like a year commitment, a 2-year commitment, you know, like there's definitely a contract and you have to sign on the dotted line. But I don't feel bad about it. I feel like it's an opportunity to get you closer to your dream. And I feel like your dream is still in bartending, restaurant type of thing. Coffee shop, I just heard too. The Fool is angel of innocence. Sometimes this comes up, look, with the dog. This comes up when you're about to try to take a chance. But I always say with this card, always look where you're going, because see how he's going to walk off the cliff? Be very aware of the situation that you're in and get to safety. Yeah, go on the journey, but be aware of where you're going. Okay, namaste. I hope it helped. Love you guys. Hi, Kim Magical. Bye, Kim Magical. Hi, Sun Kisses.